One is stopping number 7, Michael Vick. And don't forget about this guy. Warwick Dunn wants his old team to pay. Bucks, Falcons. It all starts right now with Bucks Sunday.
There's a good work ethic here. You like this team. And the guys have fun coming to work, and they've given me a chance to put in a system that's a little bit different. And the hardest part is just being new.
The Glazer family, they gave up a lot of draft picks, a lot of money. Has that put the expectations too high?
Well, I think being here, you realize the expectations are going to be high no matter how you got here, even if you were here. We got a self-motivated crowd. It doesn't take a lot to get these guys jacked up, ready to play.
And sometimes they get too jacked up. I know, like in the Rams game, you know, Keyshawn and you had some words back and forth.
Well, he's an emotional guy. We have those kind of conversations during 7-on-7 on the practice field. He's very animated, and on game day, that heart is thumping, man. He wants to play, he wants the ball, he wants to compete.
Take three. It take three.
But, you know, we all get excited on game day. Who we kidding? I think people consider me to be a little bit of a basket case on game day, and it's just, I love it. I love to compete, too, man.
You are extremely well liked by the Raiders. Since you've been gone, they're a little bit upset that you never said your goodbyes.
You know, out of respect for the relationship that we had off the field, that all the guys wanted, especially the veteran guys, was just an opportunity to say, hey, man, we really enjoyed working with you, and good luck to you, you know, but we never got that chance.
Do you regret that?
Well, you know, in some ways I do.
Hey,
Call me, John. Call me. Give me a call.
John, call us, please. We love you.
You can't have tampering charges, so you can't be picking up the phone calling them anyway, right?
You better be careful. You know, you better be careful.
Have you had any conversations with Al Davis since you've come to Tampa?
No, I think I had a dream one time where I had a conversation with him, or he yelled at me or something, but no, we haven't had any conversation.
Did he, in the dream, did he have horns or anything?
No.
Can you give me your best angry Chucky face?
Oh, man.
Give it to me one time.
Only if you come back to coaching and get up on us and keep grinding that ball on us, man. That would make me mad.
A lot of people thought that Tampa gave up too much for John Gruden. $8 million, 2 1s, 2 2s. Personally, I think the Glazer family is going to be very happy with their investment.
You know, I think a lot of people, including us here at Fox, thought the NASCAR division, the NFC South, was going to be a walkover for Tampa Bay when you go into the season. New Orleans was in disarray last year. When you look at Carolina, they certainly weren't a threat. And then you look at Atlanta, they're making the switch to Michael Vick and coming off another bad year. Well, I'll tell you what, this might be the best division in the NFC this year.
Yeah, you know, Jimmy, one thing about Gruden, he's not simply an epigon. I mean, he does have a style of his own.
Epigon.
And what I would like, well, let's just let you know I know something.
What's epigon?
But what I would like to ask you is that Gruden going into Atlanta with that Tampa Bay team, everybody says, how do you control Vic? A lot of people think you spy him. Would that be a wise thing?
No, I think if you spy against Michael Vick, you're neither fish nor fowl. You're not fast enough to catch Vic if you're a spy, and you're not into coverage. I think they ought to have a contained zone rush and blitz him. Don't spy him.
No. As I get set to take us out of here, spell epigon, Terry.
Epigon, E-P-A-G-O-N.
You're stumped.
Back with more after this.
Epigon.
Of Hawaii, number 65, Keenan Corney. At right tackle from Kansas State, number 74, Todd Weiner. At tight end from Mississippi State University, number 89, Reggie Kelly. At wide receiver from Villanova, number 86, Brian Finneran. At fullback from Northwestern, number 44, Bob Christian. At running back from Florida State University, number 28, Warwick Dunn. And at quarterback from Virginia Tech, number 7, Mike Vick. The Atlanta Falcons offense introduced to a sold-out Georgia Dome as we get ready for today's NFC South matchup, the Falcons and the Buccaneers. Kenny Albert along with Tim Green. And Tim, you can hear the crowd behind us. A new wave of excitement here in Atlanta thanks to 22-year-old quarterback Michael Vick. Players and coaches around the league already comparing his potential to that of Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
Kenny, he deserves it. He is the most exciting young player in the National Football League. He is a spectacular athlete. I don't think a quarterback has ever been better at running the football. I don't think anyone has had a stronger arm. He brings the whole thing together, but he not only does the physical things, he's doing the mental things. He's the highest rated quarterback in the NFC. He has not thrown an interception. I'm telling you, this guy by himself is worth the price of admission.
And today, Vic going up against the stingy Buccaneers defense. Not only do they stop their opponents, but they've scored in 3 straight games.
Well, yeah, and this is a defense that a lot of people after last season thought that it might have seen its best days behind it. But last season, 2 of its best players were injured. Warren Sapp and Derrick Brooks were hurt all last year. This year, they are healthy. Warren Sapp, he's the best interior lineman in the National Football League. Derrick Brooks is the best tackler. He is spectacular at the linebacker position. And both those guys told us this week they prepared to take on Michael Vick as if he were Barry Sanders. And that means today, if the Bucs are going to contain Vick, they are going to have to rally a lot of bodies to the football to tackle him.
And they will not only take on Vick, but a familiar face, former Buccaneer Warwick Dunn, second all-time rusher in Tampa Bay history. Remember to answer today's Sprint virtual coach question. When will the Rams win their first game? Use your PCS vision from Sprint or log on to foxsports.com. The Falcons and the Buccaneers coming up from the Georgia Dome on Fox.
Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens. Bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens. Silver white winters that melt into spring. These are a few of my favorite things. These are a few of my favorite things.
The Agile Play of the Week is brought to you by Microsoft, providing software to help businesses be more agile. Andy Reid's Eagles reached deep into the playbook with a fake punt that was snapped to Brian Mitchell, who then shoveled a pass to Brian Dawkins for a touchdown.
Running with the football wide open, getting a block is Brian Dawkins. Dawkins across the 15, the 10, the 5, touchdown!
Dawkins' elusive speed was instrumental to the play's success.
Gina? You know, when I was first hired, we didn't have all these fancy integrated systems. Our sales program wasn't even linked with accounting.
Back in a sold-out Georgia Dome. Kenny Albert with Tim Green. The Falcons have won the toss. Both teams coming off routes of the Cincinnati Bengals. Falcons had a bye last week and are excited to get back out there.
And Atlanta is excited. Last time these two teams played, Warwick Dunn, who was with the Tampa Bay Bucs, said it was like Tampa Town here in Atlanta, Georgia. Well, it's not Tampa Town here today. The excitement for the Falcons in this city is unprecedented.
Alan Rawson returning after missing 2 games. Awaits Martin Grammatica's kickoff. Takes it at the goal line. The former Eagle and Packer across the 40. Brings it out to the 46-yard line. A 46-yard return by Rawson, finally brought down by Rondé Barber. So terrific starting field position for Michael Vick and the Falcons offense. Vick has not thrown an interception this year in 3 starts. Started 2 games as a rookie last season out of Virginia Tech. And he is the top-rated passer in the NFC.
Kenny's making good decisions, and even when everything breaks down and he has to run around, that's where I think he's at his most dangerous, because he can throw a bullet on the run.
Bob Christian and Warwick Dunn in the backfield. from the 47-yard line off the fake to Dunn. Vick complete to the tight end Reggie Kelly in Buccaneer territory. Gain of 5. Derrick Brooks made the tackle. Falcons ranked 19th offensively. McClure bothered by a right knee injury, but he starts. Whitfield, the senior member of the Falcons, at left tackle. Dunn and Christian the backs. Jackson and Finneran the wideouts. And the tight end Kelly, who caught the first pass from Vick. 2nd down and 5. Finneran in motion. Warren Dunn up the middle against his former teammates for a gain of 4. Stopped about 1 yard shy of the marker by Brooks and Shelton Quarles. Buccaneers ranked 5th defensively. Sapp and McFarland in the middle. Rice and Spires on the outside. Quarles with Brooks and Singleton. Barber and Kelly on the corners. Lynch, the 4-time Pro Bowl safety, along with Jackson. It's 3rd down and 1 for the Falcons on the Tampa Bay 44-yard line.
When we asked Warrick Dunn yesterday about playing against his old defense, he said, "I'm going to run for my life."
Penalty marker as Vick hands it off to the first-round draft pick out of Michigan State, T.J. Duckett. Quarles and Sapp were right there. But Bill Corono signals the penalty against the Buccaneers defense.
Offside, defense, number 92, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Well, Anthony McFarland and Warren Sapp in the middle were the biggest concern for the Falcons offensively. Dan Reeves told us that his 3 interior linemen were going to have their hands full all day. Everyone talks about Warren Sapp, and so Sapp draws the double team, and that allows Anthony McFarland to make a lot of big plays.
Following the penalty from the 39, Vick off the fingertips of Finneran.
Well, you got to see Michael Vick just deftly avoid Warren Sapp on that play, because Sapp had a heck of a pass rush on Travis Claridge. Vick just steps up. Watch Sapp work here. Watch him. He's going to get up. Vick has to step up. And I think that throws him out of his rhythm. He launches that ball, and he launches it a little high.
2nd and 10 from the 39. Off the play action, Vick can't find anyone. He was under pressure from Rice and Brooks, and he threw it away.
That was the same play that they ran the first play of the game, and this time you see how quickly Tampa Bay's defense adjusted, because Dexter Jackson had the coverage on the tight end, Algie Crumpler. You're going to see a lot of that bootleg action today, though, because the bootleg enables Michael Vick to get outside of the pocket. It puts him out on the perimeter, and it gives him the option to run or to throw.
And he has been terrific on 3rd downs this year. It's 3rd and 10 from the 39. Vick from the shotgun. Good protection. And the pass is caught for a 1st down by Willie Jackson at the 23. A gain of 16 yards from Vick to the former Saint.
You see how valuable that accuracy of Michael Vick is. Rondé Barber's going to fall down on the play. There's Barber right there, and he's got the outside part of the zone, and I think Michael Vick is lucky that Barber fell. I think if Rondé Barber keeps his feet, that's an interception.
Barber's had a terrific season. Went to his first Pro Bowl last year. From the 23. Duckett wrapped up by McFarland after a gain of just 2.
Most of the time today, Kenny, John Lynch is going to be moving up, creating an 8-man front. to try to shut down the Falcons' run game. Here's Lynch right here. So now they've got 8 defenders in the box to shut that run down. The Tampa Bay defense is not overly concerned with the Falcons wide receivers. They think that Rondé Barber and Brian Kelly can handle those guys without a lot of help from the safeties. So that leaves John Lynch to move up. And there he is right there. You see him, he's just going to keep sneaking up. He can come up and play against the run.
Vick to the near side. Jackson, the intended receiver. McFarland got a piece of it.
And on that play, it was a pass, so Lynch just kept coming. I think right now the passes that we've seen Michael Vick throw would suggest that he's a little on edge. He needs to settle down a little bit.
Third down and 9. Falcons converted earlier this drive on 3rd and 10. Vick looks to escape, wrapped up, and taken down. Ellis Wims. And then he was finished off by Simeon Rice.
And did you see that defense rally to Michael Vick? Watch this pass rush. You're going to see Sapp and McFarland. They start to close down the middle. Michael Vick almost escapes, but look, here comes Sapp. These guys are just going to keep running all day long because they know he has a chance and the athletic ability to get away. So Simeon Rice and Warren Sapp keep running. They run to the ball, and they stop the Falcons on a big 3rd down.
And now a 46-yard attempt. Jay Feely wide to the right. Feely has had his problems here at home. He misses from 46.
Fontenot, the veteran, Bentley, the rookie, and Falau, the right tackle. Backs and receivers, Deuce McAllister, so versatile, running and receiving. Smith is his fullback. Pathan comes over from Indianapolis. Joe Horn, the prolific wide receiver, playing with the tender knee, and David Sloan, the tight end. He was with the Lions last year. 3rd down and 2 at the 22. The Saints coming off that 26-21 loss to Detroit at Ford Field last week. Play clock winding down. Here's Brooks rolling out, firing on the run, incomplete. Ball intended for Joe Horn.
Martin, who was applauding, got a hand on it.
Sidearms the ball nicely, gets it to Kadri Ismail. But some fleet linebackers make the play. Takeo Spikes and Simmons shut him down for a very short gain.
The Colts attempt to go no huddle here because they feel it really knocks back the pressure that the Bengals can bring. They bring a lot of pressure. They change the call to the line of scrimmage, and by going no huddle, they feel like they can kind of befuddle their defensive calls. But in the first 2 series, the Bengals have looked very sharp.
They really have. Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator for the Colts, told us at practice, he said in 26 years in this league, there are no easy games he's been involved in. He said the Bengals, no matter what their record, have professional pride. They're going to be tough. And early on, they are, as a fair catch is signaled for by Hushmanzada. And the Bengals will go again, this time starting at their 32.
The famous Fox Theater here in Atlanta as we welcome you back inside the Georgia Dome. Buccaneers offense going to work from their own 37-yard line following the missed field goal. Alstott and Pittman in the backfield. This is Pittman out to the 42-yard line, a gain of 5. Sam Rogers made the stop.
Kenny, Warren Sapp, not only the best interior lineman, but an advocate here. Watch him working on the referee. And what he's doing, he's telling the officials that Michael Vick is jerking his head when he does the snap count. So he's trying to set the officials up to call for a
Johnson had the ball stripped. Falcons have recovered. Sam Rogers, the pressure, knocked it loose, and it was recovered by Ed Jasper. Only the 6th Buccaneers turnover in 5 games.
There's that 3-4 Falcons defense, Kenny. And Sam Rogers was the linebacker that came. He stripped the ball. And the pressure from Jasper and Kearney was there as well.
1st and 10, 32-yard line. Ducking, couple of nice moves. Gain 7 down to the Buccaneer 25.
Watch Sam Rogers. He comes right off the right side, right around Roman Oben. And you saw the pressure underneath from Kearney and Jasper to flush Brad Johnson out of the pocket. Brad Johnson has taken his share of hits and then some this season so far. Tampa Bay's offensive line has a lot of inexperience on it, and the inexperience showed on that play there.
Dunn split out to the left. Penalty markers on 2nd and 3.
Now let's see if Bill Carolla is going to call Michael Vick for the offsides. Just Warren Sapp set it up. We'll see.
Prior to snap, false start, number 7. Pulling out of the quarterback, out of the center, 5-yard penalty.
He did.
Repeat 2nd down.
Well, we saw Warren Sapp talking to Bill Carolla. Watch his head. It was his head, and he actually had some body lean as well. But I think Warren Sapp still had the officials focused on Michael Vick because of what he was saying after the last series.
And Sapp put the idea into the mind of Carolla. Inside handoff, Duckett has the 1st down. Now to the 18-yard line, a gain of 12. Terrific start for Duckett.
I really don't think that the Atlanta Falcons, when they drafted T.J. Duckett in the 1st round, I don't think that they thought he would be as good as he's been. Look at that average, 4.8 yards a carry. Now, they brought Warrick Dunn in here in the offseason. They paid him a ton of money as a free agent, and I think the Falcons expected that Dunn would carry the load this season. But Duckett has shown that he is certainly worthy of picking up part of that burden.
And today, Duckett averaging close to 7 yards per carry. Falcons in the red zone from the 18. It's Dunn. Cuts to the outside. And gains 2 down to the 16. Derrick Brooks made the stop.
Well, Warrick Dunn is a runner that's probably not as conducive to running successfully against this defense as T.J. Duckett, only because Dunn is an outside runner. He makes those great breaks and cuts to the outside. This is a defense whose linebackers have tremendous speed, and the speed of Derrick Brooks on that last play was what kept Dunn down. Now, Duckett has had success, Kenny, running right at this Tampa Bay defense. That's how you have to run at them, right at their speed.
Dunn in the backfield with Christian. Play clock winding down. The pitch to Dunn. Looks to cut it back inside. Ellis Wims made the stop.
Again, it's just hard to beat this Tampa Bay defense running tosses or plays to the outside. And here it is. It's just a toss play, but they're so fast. Look at the pursuit. Here's Brooks. Here's Quarles. Here's Singleton. I mean, they're all out there, and then they are all running to the ball.
Dunn told us yesterday it will be easy to get up for this game. I will not need a pregame speech going up against my former club. Empty backfield. 3rd down and 8. Vick with time. And he was looking for Dunn out of the backfield. John Lynch on the coverage. Here comes the field goal unit once again for the Falcons.
Well, Michael Vick is not throwing with the accuracy that he has shown so far this season. You almost have to wonder. Falcons had the week off last week, and you have to wonder if that week off didn't get him out of his rhythm. He needs to get back into his rhythm and start throwing more accurately.
Vick just 2 for 6 so far. 34-yard attempt. Feely was wide right from 46 just moments ago. This time, straight through. So the Falcons capitalize on the turnover. They lead 3-0.
McCarron's breaking Champ Bailey's tackle and getting a first down into Redskin territory. David Terrell finally to stop at a gain of 15 yards for McCarron's.
Pass complete to Tony McGee. That's the first down.
Tough.
Fills my orders, then ships them.
To go back to that penalty, Greg, is that it's a drive killer too. It just stops you. Probably the #1 thing, or one of the big.
3rd down and 4 from the 30. Gannon throws out of the reach of the double-covered Tim Brown. Incomplete pass. 4th down. Raiders have got to punt.
And once again, they're punting. First 2 possessions I talked about earlier. Special teams, field position. Bill Callahan knows his team so far has started on the 14 and the 13-yard line. Games like this and your offensive game plans depend on field position. When you're backed up, your book's not quite as well.
By IBM, e-business is the game, play to win. By Toyota, get the feeling. And by Budweiser, delivering beer at its best with a crisp, clean, and refreshing taste known only to the king of beers.
Aaron Stecker has the longest kickoff return in Buccaneers history, but did not reach the end zone. In fact, no Buccaneer ever has in over 1,500 returns.
But this is still a successful return team. This kickoff return team is ranked 5th in the National Football League. So they've not gotten a touchdown yet, but they are doing a good job giving their offense field position.
An onside kick, and Feely has recovered. The Falcons surprised the Buccaneers with the onside kick in the first quarter. It's recovered by the kicker, the Tampa native, Jay Feely.
Talk about redemption for a missed field goal earlier on, Kenny. This is a perfect onside kick. Watch Feely. He just squibs it perfectly, and then he picks it up himself. It's got to go 10 yards before he can touch it. As soon as it crosses that 10-yard mark, there he is. Here's the spot it's got to go to. He's just going to squib it along, and then Feely pounces on it. Look at that. Look at the defenders way too far back. And then the Falcons kickoff coverage team, they're down there throwing blocks, protecting Feely. What a bold call by Dan Reeves.
And his son-in-law, Joe DeCamillis, the special teams coach.
That's right.
And Tim J. Feely out of Jesuit High School in Tampa. He once tried out for the Buccaneers, and soon thereafter they drafted a fellow by the name of Gramatica.
Well, I tell you, that's a clutch kick right there. Because, you know, think about it. You've got to kick it just right. If you come up short of the 10-yard line, everyone's down on you. If you kick it beyond the line far enough for the opposing team to pick it up, then you've given them great field position. It's like sinking a 36-foot putt.
Penalty markers on first down.
Not that I've ever sunk a 36-foot putt.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
Prior to the snap, false start, 70, offense, 5-yard penalty.
Big Bob Whitfield, he's the veteran on that Falcons offensive line, and he's going to have his hands full today because Simeon Rice is an exceptional pass rusher. He gets to the edge as well as any defensive end. Exceptional speed. Sometimes, Kenny, offenses will run right at it. to try to slow him down, to keep him from getting upfield too far.
Bob Woodfield, the only Falcon remaining from your playing days.
That's
here
right,
in Atlanta.
yeah, one of my former teammates.
1st and 15. Falcons keep it on the ground on 1st down. John Lynch and Derrick Brooks combining to bring down Warrick Dunn after a gain of 5. So 2nd and 10 upcoming. Falcons on their 3rd offensive possession. Buccaneers have only run 2 plays on offense, and Brad Johnson fumbled.
Kenny, right now, though, for the Falcons run game, Duckett is averaging 6.7 yards a carry. Warrick Dunn is only averaging 2.8.
Dunn in the backfield, 2 tight ends set on 2nd and 10. More flags.
It looked like Michael Vick pulled out from under the center too quick.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 7, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Sapp's really gotten into the heads of the officials.
Well, and I think Anthony McFarland is getting into Vick's head. Look at McFarland. Look how quickly he's coming off the ball. If those guys up front, McFarland and Sapp, are so quick, you know, they get into the quarterback's head. He's nervous. He's worried about getting out of there quick, and he loses his concentration on the snap count.
So the Falcons force back 5 yards, 2nd down and 15. Vick over the middle, Dunn out to the 42-yard line.
Wow. Anthony McFarland just lambasted Michael Vick on that play. Again, that's that 3-on-2 battle. The Falcons guards and center, they've got to block these 2 big guys, and the focus goes to Sapp. See the double team on Sapp? And then McFarland comes clean and just blasts Michael Vick.
Interesting matchup. McFarland and the Falcons center McClure, very good friends, teammates at LSU.
There are no friends on Sunday, not between the whistles.
At least between 1 and 4. Vick under pressure, gets rid of it. Dunn could not hold on. So the Falcons will punt it away.
This is an example, and the Falcons were concerned about these 2 guys. Watch Sapp and McFarland. Look at both of them on this play. Look at the pressure they get on Michael Vick immediately. There's McFarland, there's Sapp. So Vick never gets time to set up and throw this ball with any touch. And then Warrick Dunn, you know, that's a ball he's got to catch, though.
So Chris Moore, a Buccaneer way back in 1989, punting for the first time. Carl Williams backpedaling and lets it bounce into the end zone for a touchback. 58-yard punt. Buccaneers will start from their own 20.
It's a wonder he held on to the ball when he got guys.
To it, I think that they've been bringing a few more defensive backs when they spread guys out, bring them off.
Down Miami at the New England 23. Ricky Williams running room up the middle, close to the 15-yard line. Teddy Bruschi with this tackle after an 8-yard pickup.
You know, and go back to that 3rd down play. That's New England's strength. Otis Smith had a Rondé Gadsden covered, but that's why in the National Football League, every team, you've got to have a big receiver so he can just go down there, use his body, and pick up those first downs.
Dave Wannstedt thought his team's problem in the loss to Kansas City last week was their attitude. He said we were playing to play, but we didn't play to win. 2nd and 2. Mark Edwards. Robert Conrad. I'm sorry, Rob Conrad.
Easy. Well, you know, Craig, I thought the offense last week, especially early for the Miami Dolphins, played very well. And if the defense could have ever just slowed Kansas City down.
Enter to win a trip to the big game with John Elway. Odds of winning dependent on number of entries. Odds of becoming John Elway's best friend? Not as good.
This fall, a school will be torn apart.
This walkout is about the students' power.
This is about outrage.
Things need to change.
Shut up.
No, you shut up.
People, let's calm down. Boston Public. Premieres Monday, October 21st on Fox.
Bill O'Reilly factors the growing threat in Iraq. The president speaks to the nation. What will be our next course of action in the war on terror? Watch the O'Reilly Factor. It's news as a contact sport on the Fox News Channel. Check local listings.
O'Reilly has a different perspective, you know, and people talk about the media being liberal. O'Reilly's not liberal.
So tune in the O'Reilly Factor on the Fox News Channel. Brad Johnson, third all-time in completion percentage, empty backfield. And the pass is caught for a first down and more by Keenan McCardell. Finally brought down near midfield by Keon Carpenter, a 30-yard pass play.
Tampa Bay comes out and they force the Falcons to dig deep into their roster. Mathis is the fourth cornerback, and he's covering Williams, and not only does he not get the coverage, he doesn't make the tackle after the catch. And the Falcons told us yesterday they had to stop run after the catch. They said, look, this is a West Coast offense. We know they're going to complete balls on us, but then it has to stop. They can't have yards after they catch it. Well, they just did.
The pitch to Mike Alstott, and he rumbles for 7 yards down to the Falcons 43 before he was brought down by Sam Rogers.
Kenny, the Falcons came into this game hoping that they could stop the Tampa Bay running attack with just 7 men. They wanted to take their safeties, McBurrows and Keon Carpenter, and put them back behind the cornerbacks to give them some help. That means they have to stop the run with just their linebackers and defensive line.
Both receivers split to the left. Second down and 3. Michael Pittman. A hard hit, stopped about a yard shy of the marker by Gerald McBurrows, the strong safety.
I think it was actually, it was McBurrows and Matt Stewart who made that hit, but McBurrows just laid Pittman out. And that's one thing McBurrows is very good at. He is a run support safety, although at times he'll struggle in his pass coverage.
Johnson forced to call timeout with the play clock winding down. The crowd on their feet. A sellout here at the Georgia Dome with the Falcons on top by 3.
Turn to page 94 in the middle of the book. Look at the numbers for LatAm. Hello? We will get into that in the second hour.
The network's down. I have to go.
I wouldn't want her job.
How long do you figure this excuse is good for?
Let's hope till we get to Maui.
IBM and Linux make your network practically bulletproof. Everybody should know that.
Bullseye wins it.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about! Sweet nectar of life! Boo, yeah!
Just tasted new Sam Adams Light, the first great tasting light beer. Shockingly great taste.
Yeah!
The 2003 Corolla S. With greater performance, it just wants to have fun.
Some things you don't want to be late for, like Malcolm's season premiere at its new time, Sunday, November 3rd at 9/8 Central on Fox.
Following the timeout, 3rd down and 1 for the Buccaneers.
3rd down has not been a strength of this offense. 21st in the NFL this season.
From the 41. Off the play fake. Johnson is taken down. A loss of 2 on the play. Matt Stewart with his first sack of the season.
It was a great deception, but Brad Johnson goes on the naked bootleg, and watch Matt Stewart just run him down. Now, if that's Michael Vick, you aren't catching him. But that's Brad Johnson, and he's big, he's tough, he's got a game arm, a lively arm.
And now, as they set up for the punt, Tom Tupa, a former quarterback, lines up behind center. It's 4th down and 3. Tupa, the
going to try to draw him off. Then they're going to line up and punt it, most likely, Kenny.
Tupa, the Buccaneers punter, who started 13 games at quarterback for the Cardinals, threw that interception in the end zone week 1 against New Orleans in overtime. So the Buccaneers take the delay of game penalty, which will give Tupa some more room. And Tim, the new long snapper, Morris Unitoa, a former Buccaneer, Eagle and Bill, signed this week, replacing the injured Mike Solwald. So Unitoa snapping for the first time this season. And it's a high snap. Good job by Tupa. Taken at the 10-yard line. Allen Rossum. Return of only 5 yards up to the 15. White Smith made the tackle, a 38-yard punt by Tupa.
Breakthrough. Monday.
Why don't you and I try to discover the real Dave? And of course, Troy played for Ty Willingham at Stanford, so he said he wasn't sure which way he was.
A lot of that going on yesterday at that Stanford Notre Dame game.
As we mentioned, Walters, who's very short, very fast, was the Biletnikoff Award winner at Stanford as the top receiver.
Right now from
favoring the Colts.
Trying to turn the corner, he won't get there. Arturo Freeman, number 27, tracked him down. Well, that is the end of the first quarter. Our score, Miami 6, the Patriots nothing. We'll come back after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
Good protection, but at the last second, the one player that can't be accounted for is who breaks up the play.
3rd down 10 at the Buffalo 43. 9th play of this Raider drive.
Watch the veterans, top of the screen.
Good block by Kirby. Here goes Gannon. Has to get to the 33. Has a first down and more. And the guy who is one of the great modern-day scramblers shows you why. He was drafted as a defensive back. The Falcons will start from their own 15.
Kenny, Michael Vick has not been accurate with his throwing. And the other thing is we've not seen him run the ball. He has averaged 7.7 yards a carry. That's the best in the National Football League right there. You see what the rest of the team has done, 3.7. So he needs to settle down, start to throw a little more accurately. And also, you know, I think everyone in the Georgia Dome here wants to see him take off and make one of those spectacular runs.
He's the leading rusher among quarterbacks in the NFL. Hands it off to Dunn. And Dunn stopped after a gain of just 2. Setting up 2nd down and 8.
If you looked at the action of that play, it was the bootleg action. So they're starting to set up that bootleg. Now here comes T.J. Duckett. And you know, we talked about this in their last series. I think that's a good move. I mean, Duckett is in a groove. He's averaging 6-7 a carry, and I think if a guy is running like that, you just give it to him. You got to feed him. You can't keep going to work done if he's not going to pick up big yards.
2nd down and 8. Off the play fake. Vick fires and has the first down. Finneran out at the 28. A gain of 10.
Not only was that ball very well thrown, it had some touch on it. And that's the first time we've seen that today from Michael Vick. Nice move by Finneran. He gets inside. You see that ball had a little bit of touch on it. He didn't use his full arm strength on that pass, and he lays it in there perfectly. Finneran, the good thing about him is his hands are so good. He can catch even when Michael Vick gets excited and throws a rocket. Finneran has the hands to catch it.
From the 28-yard line, the pitch to Dunn. Rondé Barber coming up to make the stop.
And I've got to say, this is the second time we've seen, or the third time we've seen the Falcons run that pitch play. And I'll say it again, it will not work against this Tampa Bay defense, not consistently, because you've got Brooks, you've got Quarles, you've got Singleton, and they're too fast.
Clock winding down. That will do it for the first quarter here in Atlanta. Falcons with an onside kick. They recovered, and they forced a turnover as well. They lead 3-0.
Keep our highways beautiful. The 911 Carrera.
The quarterback when that ball is supposed to be thrown, so he knows when to turn.
Going to dunk to top it off. The Bengals, who came out aggressively on defense, all of a sudden the biggest overmatch in this game is Marvin Harrison. He owns the secondary of the Bengals.
You see there 2 straight handoffs to Edgerrin James, and then they fake it. And Pollard just finds some empty space in the end zone, and Manning puts it up there where he can grab it easily. A basketball player is easy to catch a football above his head. They're used to that.
That came in on the wrong side, and Vanderjagt will hit the point after. 7th touchdown pass of the year for Peyton Manning. Extra point is up and good, and early in the second quarter, the Colts are off to a 14-0 lead. We'll be back with the Colts kickoff in a moment.
Game 4 of the NLDS tonight on Fox.
1 quarter in the books here in Atlanta with the Falcons leading the Buccaneers 3-0. Kenny Albert with Tim Green, and we still have not seen Michael Vick do what he does best.
No, we haven't seen him take off and run the football, and he makes these unbelievable plays when he does do that. But what we did see on his last pass, Kenny, was a more controlled pass with a little bit of touch on it, and that's dangerous for this Tampa Bay defense. They are going to have to continue to keep the pressure on him with Warren Sapp and Anthony McFarland up the middle.
2nd down and 10 as we start this second quarter. Vick 4 for 9 in the air. Make it 4 for 10. Ryan Finneran, the intended receiver.
And again, on that play there, it wasn't a completed pass, but you saw Vick kind of placing it in there between the coverage, and you saw his accuracy on that play. The other thing is the Falcons have done kind of an inconsistent job at protecting Michael Vick, but when they have done it, like on that play, they've done it very well. So Michael Vick is either running around trying to save himself, or else he's standing back there with plenty of time.
And they had 2 weeks to prepare for this Buccaneers defense coming off the bye. Vick on 3rd and 10 fires, looking for Willie Jackson. And right now for a game break, let's check in with James Brown in Los Angeles.
Kenny and Tim, Giants trying to play error-free football. First possession of the second quarter. Collins hooks up with Hilliard. Great second effort. Just the third touchdown in 12 red zone possessions this season for the Giants. They're up by a touch. Back to Kenny and Tim.
Thanks, JB. Hey, tell Terry you definitely sold a couple of his new books in this booth. I know Kenny and I are going to run out and get them.
I don't know which book to read first, Terry's or yours.
Keep it simple.
33-yard punt. Good field position for the Bucs.
Got the long weekend. We're leaving early. This is good. A little luck. We'll be there by noon. Latest. Thanks. Ooh, back seat.
Foam-fingered fools.
Close out the series against Barnes and the Giants. 4 of the NLDS tonight on Fox.
Fox Football Sunday, start of the second quarter. Redskins lead 3-0. Dick Stockton, Darrell Johnston, and Ron Pitts with you in Nashville. Second down, 5. John Simon now moving in motion behind and on the pitch. Does not fool the Redskins as Jesse Armstead, who is really developing as the leader of the linebacking corps, makes the stop and a loss of 6 yards. Stephen Davis on the sidelines.
Take a look right here. They're going to motion number 80, or Justin McCarron's just going in on the crack. That's a nice spin move by Jesse Armstead right there, and he got caught on that one a couple weeks ago in San Francisco. He's learned from his mistakes. That was a nifty little spin move to avoid that wide receiver.
Customers what they want. That's 1 degree of separation. That's business with .net from Microsoft.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Microsoft, providing software for the agile business. By Volkswagen, on the road of life there are passengers and there are drivers. By Taco Bell, think outside the bun. And by Coors Original, real golden beer, the official sponsor of Guys Night Out.
Anthony McFarland of the Buccaneers, a left foot sprain. His return is questionable. He'll watch as the Bucs go back on offense. They run only 6 plays from scrimmage.
That should help that Falcons offensive line protect Vick. Wow.
Michael Pittman looks to hurdle after the 41-yard line.
That was Keith Brooking.
Yep.
And he brings it. He has had 10 tackles or more in each of the Falcons' 3 games so far this season. Against Green Bay in the opener, he had 22 tackles.
Went to the Pro Bowl last year for the first time.
He's got fabulous instincts. He's like a Brian Urlacher, not quite the speed of Urlacher, but the same type of great instincts.
Johnson on 2nd and 9. Off the fingertips of the tight end Ricky Dudley, playing in his 3rd game with the Bucs. He's already scored 2 touchdowns.
And they want to use Ricky Dudley. The Falcons are going to do a lot of press with their cornerbacks to the outside. They're going to keep their safeties back to help them deep. It's going to let the cornerbacks press, and so Dudley is going to have some man-to-man coverage. He's going to have some man-to-man coverage by linebackers and occasionally a safety. And so Tampa Bay wants to take advantage of that because Dudley's a lot faster than he looks.
3rd down and 9. 3 receivers set. Bucs have to get to the 49 for a first down, and Keyshawn Johnson picks up the first with the 500th reception of his NFL career, a gain of 14.
Well, Kenny, you see Keyshawn talking to Jerron Bolden. Bolden is going to be on Keyshawn all day. It's like a fight. The light heavyweights are Keyshawn Johnson and Jerron Bolden. These 2 guys are going to be locked up. And then in the middleweight division, we've got Ashley Ambrose. He is going to try to stay on Keenan McCardle all day long. And as I just said, these guys are going to try to be up and pressing those guys, pressing the Tampa Bay wide receivers, getting physical with them, knowing that they have help behind them deep with the safeties.
And the Falcons going with Bolden against Keyshawn because of his size, 6'2", against the 6'4" Johnson. Brad Johnson over the middle. Keith Brooking was right there to take down Pittman after a gain of just 2.
Well, there wasn't a lot of run after the catch on that one. And, you know, Pittman has more receptions than any of the other receivers that Brad Johnson is throwing to, and he does that a lot. He throws to Pittman on the checkdowns quite often. And if Pittman can take it and turn it into something positive, then, you know, that's gonna hurt this Falcons defense. But Brooking with an excellent tackle.
In fact, only Marshall Faulk and Tiki Barber have more receptions among running backs in the league than Pittman. 2nd and 8. Johnson on the slant from McCardell. Stopped about a yard shy of the marker by Ambrose.
And then there's that middleweight division. It's Ashley Ambrose against Keenan McCardell. And watch him right here. There they are. And you see that press? So he bumps him, he presses him, and then he still stays with him on the inside slant move. That was another good tackle after the catch. So 0 run after the catch on that play. Good tackle by Ambrose.
3rd down and 2. Michael Pittman.
I think Pittman, I don't know. I don't think they're not going to give him that on the spot, Kenny. It looked like he made it from up here. And I think they're going to be, I think they're short, Kenny. So that's another 3rd and short situation where the Falcons defense holds up. Watch it right here. It's just going to be a little dive play, a little trap. And it's Ed Jasper is the guy who makes the tackle. And Jasper is kind of an unconventional nose guard in this 3-4 Falcons defense. Most of the nose guards in the 3-4 are enormous men, 350-pounders. Jasper's only about 300, real svelte, but he's quick.
Brian Barker will kick it away. John Simon back deep, and it's gotten awfully
touched. Great play call, a long run for a quarterback, and then the play action like they do so well. Open in the back of the end zone, Marcus Pollard. That's the 14-point deficit that the Bengals face right now, and Peyton Manning looking for more.
Yeah, you know, there's so many talks. We look at the distribution of the pass. There's so much talk about it. What do you do with a top young quarterback? Do you let him sit and watch? Well, the thinking now is you put him right in there like Houston's doing with the #1 pick this year, David Carr, like the Colts did with Peyton Manning. He struggled with a 3-13 team in '98. The next year they were 13-3 and in the playoffs.
And you see as they get the first down, you're right, Don. Peyton Manning really taught the NFL that they could do that with a player and have him be better. And Peyton told us yesterday, you know, we were talking about the troubles the Cincinnati Bengals had with their quarterback situation. He says, listen, you stick him in there and you leave him in there. I learned a lot in the 4th quarter of some bad football games. I mean, when they stuck me back out there, I deserved to be benched a couple of times, Peyton Manning said. But I learned a lot by them sticking me out there, and it really helped me now and later in my career that I got a chance to see that stuff.
Now he is one of the elite players in the league. Manning to James, and Edgerrin James. There's not a whole lot there as he's taken down after a gain of about 3 by linebacker Takeo Spikes. Manning, Steve, was also very helpful to David Carr when we saw him last week in Philadelphia when after the Colts beat the Houston Texans. Manning told him, whatever you do, don't lose confidence. It gets better even though it seems like it won't at times.
It doesn't matter if you're
out of Los Angeles now.
24, the season premiere. Presented without commercial interruption by Ford. No boundaries. Tuesday, October 29th on Fox.
The Buccaneers head coach John Gruden initially sent out Martin Gramatica on 4th and inches for what would have been about a 53-yard attempt. But now it looks like the Bucs will go for it.
And the Falcons started when Wade Phillips had 5 defensive linemen out there. But then he pulled them off, and he's back in his regular 34.
4th and inches. The toss to Pittman. And it looks like he picked it up on the good second effort.
He twisted through. Ed Jasper was the guy on the tackle again. But this time Jasper wasn't able to bring Pittman down before the yard mark. Here's Jasper right here. Watch him working, using the quickness, working through that line, and he makes the hit. But Pittman spins, and it's a heck of an effort, and it keeps the Tampa Bay drive going. Tampa Bay has not really gotten their run game going this season. And they thought that against this Falcons defense, Falcons 24th in the league in their run defense, and Tampa Bay felt like, you know what, we should be able to run against these guys. They're a little lighter, they're a quicker defense, and that's part of that 3-4, having 4 linebackers out there instead of the 4-3 where they have 3 backers.
So a new set of downs as Johnson hits Allstott for a gain of 6. Matt Stewart coming up to make the tackle for the Falcons.
Really, if you look at this passing game, Kenny, it's a short passing game. And that's what we've seen. We've seen that so far today. Brad Johnson's been throwing the ball underneath. The biggest pass play they had was about a 5-yard slant to Keenan McCardell, and then McCardell took off and picked up another, 10 or 15. But so far, it's just this underneath passing, picking away at this Falcons defense.
2nd and 4. McCardell on the reverse, hesitated, and then is taken down at the 26-yard line after a gain of 3. So it will be 3rd and 1 for the Bucs.
And the guy that makes this, Bolden starts it out, but then Will Overstreet from Tennessee, the Falcons' 3rd-round pick. Watch him here. Watch him hunt this thing down. And look at that hustle to make that tackle. Because I'll tell you what, if Overstreet doesn't follow up on Bolden's initial hit, I think McCardell just keeps running.
Overstreet making his NFL debut. Missed the first 3 games with a shoulder injury.
And they just love his hustle, and you could see his hustle on that play.
3rd down and 1. Play action. Johnson's pass is caught by the fullback Jameel Cook, and he picks up the 1st down, only his 2nd reception of the season. A gain of 12 yards on the play.
Well, someone had a blitz peel where they were coming on the blitz, and they didn't peel with the fullback. When you rush the quarterback from the outside, if you're an outside backer, sometimes a safety, and the guy who's supposed to block you goes out in a pass pattern, you've got to peel off of the blitz. No one peeled off of the blitz, and it's another 1st down for Tampa Bay and another short pass.
Empty backfield from the 14. And Johnson's pass incomplete. Ashley Ambrose on the coverage.
Well, that was a well-timed blitz by Keith Brooking. Really well-timed. He hits the line of scrimmage when the ball is snapped. Watch Brooking here. Look at that. He hits it so quickly that the guard is not able to pull off in time to keep him from hitting Brad Johnson. Look how he times that thing up. He was smoking on that play.
12th play of the drive for the Buccaneers. 2nd and 10 from the Falcons' 14. Pittman the lone back. Johnson complete. McCardell down to the 5. Chris Kraft made the tackle after a gain of 8 yards.
Well, Tampa Bay knows by now that Ashley Ambrose is trying to mirror McCardell over the field, all over the field. So what they did on that play, they came out with a bunch. They put 3 wide receivers in a cluster, and that forced the Falcons into a zone. So Ambrose was not able to play man on McCardell, and McCardell got tied up on a linebacker. Another key 3rd down for Tampa Bay.
3rd down and 2. Johnson looking for Pittman, incomplete.
Well, we said before, Tampa Bay has not had a lot of success on 3rd down.
They went for it on 4th and 1 on this drive and were successful. They picked up a 1st down on 3rd and 1 earlier this drive, but could not pick up the 1st on 3rd down and 2. So Gramatica to attempt a 23-yard field goal from the left hash mark. Martin Gramatica.
Another high snap, Kenny.
High snap by the new long snapper Unitoa. And Gramatica ties the game at 3.
line by Peter Warwick.
Well, it was a mental mistake. Yeah, it was a mental mistake by retreating inside the 10-yard line, then compounded by a physical mistake, not being able to field the punt. And they gave up a touchdown because of it.
You wonder, Steve, about the accountability on this team. Warwick will be out there next week, starting, returning punts. Some question he might have been out of bounds.
Yeah, they might be out of one of these receivers. Now, nobody can go out of bounds and come back in and catch a pass. The first guy, he can't be out of bounds and then touch the football. And there he is. He's out of bounds, and he bats the football. That's an illegal play. This play is going to come back, Don. Excellent call by the officials. The tight end in the back of the end zone stepped on the end line before he touched the ball. That's illegal.
Number 85 went out of bounds. The ball was first touched by a defender, but then before the receiver reestablished himself in the field of play, he touched it, making the ball out of bounds at that spot. Incomplete pass.
Well called. You can't get out of bounds and come back in and touch the football. Just right here, that's Roberg. His back foot before that had touched the end line, and then he came back in and touched the football. That's illegal. So anything that happens after that is irrelevant.
Now you feel bad for Detron Smith. He had a shining.
And I think in that case, Roberg looked like he was the first man to touch it anyway. But nevertheless, it's going to be second down and goal to go from the 4, just inside the 4. And you see there Tony Dungy.
So you know what happens now, Steve? Edgerrin James gets his first touchdown in 8 games on the next play. Watch.
That's better than a coin flip odd right there. That's better than 50-50. And Tony Dungy, now he has to if he goes out of bounds and the ball is tipped by another player.
And forced out of bounds at the 21-yard line. Time now for a game break with James Brown. JB.
Kenny and Tim, look at this quick decision by Steve McNair of the Titans as he goes back. Real quick look. Hey, I'm going to take this pay dirt. 11 yards he did. Tennessee up 7-3. Werfel out with a shoulder sprain. Stephen Davis with a knee injury. And Tim Green. Terry Bradshaw says he's trying to become a prolific writer like you. Back to you guys.
I appreciate it. I think he's been on the bestseller list more than I have, though.
That's what JB said during the pregame show. New York Times bestseller list for Terry. Keep it simple. Falcons will start from their own 22-yard line. On first down, here's Duckett.
Wow, look at that. Did you see that? First of all, this is what the Falcons really have to keep doing. The guy is like a train. He's like a locomotive.
He's nicknamed the Diesel.
He's got, I mean, go run right at him. Look at him. Run right at him. Cover up the ball. He runs right through Rondé Barber, and then he runs right through Singleton. And then here comes Quarles and Jackson, and it takes 3 guys to get him down. But not after he's picked up, only after he's picked up 9 yards. And I'm telling you, 4 of those 9 yards were just blasting guys.
Duckett, look at that, has the first down and more out to the 41-yard line, a gain of 10.
Just feed that man the rock. That's all you got to do. I mean, I know he's a rookie, and I know you spent a ton of money on Warwick Dunn, but if it's working like this, it's a little cutback play. Look at it. He uses that speed of the Tampa Bay defense against him. He gets them going one way, they over pursue, just a little cutback, and then not to the outside, but swish straight at him with the heavy man.
Work done on the sidelines. Strong first half for Duckett, averaging nearly 8 yards per carry. And the Falcons keep it on the ground, nowhere to go this time. Derrick Brooks, the first Buccaneer in, along with John Lynch. Loss of 1 on the play.
That's the first time we've seen Duckett not pick up big yards. So that's the first time. So now what you do is you keep Duckett in, well, they're not gonna, but now you can use the play action pass, because now you have John Lynch and Derrick Brooks and everyone so focused on stopping Duckett when he's in there that you can fake the run, do the play action, and now Michael Vick's going to have time to throw the pass.
And Dunn lined up as a receiver. Empty backfield. Vick out of the shotgun on 2nd down and 11. Vick looks to escape and is taken down by Simeon Rice.
And McFarland was there too. McFarland's back in. You know how Jimmy Johnson on the pregame show said, I don't think Tampa Bay is going to put a spy on Michael Vick. He was absolutely right. I spoke to Monty Kiffin before the game. Kiffin's a defensive coordinator for the Bucs, and he said, look, we're just going to rush him like we normally do. The only difference is when Simeon Rice gets upfield and Greg Spires get upfield to the level of the quarterback, I don't want him to keep going and run around. I want him to come back on the inside. Otherwise, we're not doing anything special. We're just going after him like we go after everyone.
And that's exactly what they did on that play. 3rd down and 13. Vick again under pressure. Got rid of it.
That's a dangerous throw.
And a late flag comes in as well. Greg Spires is down.
That pocket just collapsed. Someone may have hit Michael Vick helmet to helmet, and it may have been Warren Sapp. Watch Sapp right here. He's going to come in. McFarland gets him down. And I don't know. I don't know if that's a penalty or not. Greg Spires looked like he hit Vick, and remember, you can't hit the quarterback in the head. I don't know if that's it or not.
Illegal forward pass by number 7, passing the ball forward beyond the line of scrimmage.
Okay.
It's a 5-yard penalty and loss of down. 4th down.
Not only was it illegal, it's kind of a dangerous thing to do, to carry the ball, have it out there. I don't know if Michael Vick intended that, though, Kenny. I don't know if he intended to even have the ball go out of his hand.
Just slipped out.
It looked more like he got sandwiched, and that thing just came flying out of there.
So Chris Moore back at his own 21. Carl Williams back deep for the Buccaneers. Just over 5 minutes to play, 2nd quarter. Tied at 3. Penalty markers. Moore angling the punt towards the sidelines. Fair catch taken by Williams at the 16, following a 49-yard punt. Bill Carollo looking for some help.
The Falcons are going to just
Offside,
let it stand
defense,
as it was.
Number 34.
It's a pretty good
that penalty is declined. Timeout.
So the Bucs back on offense when we return.
It needs a 7th diesel. The 4th.
This Tennessee Titans defense get into the game plan that they wanted to, and that was to continually move their secondary around to confuse the quarterback. Not
checking it out. Did you have more bounce?
Yeah, I think I did. Once I found my way.
I'm not sure. About me, not you.
From a defensive standpoint, the ends got up the field, got in Jake's face, and Brenston Buckner, the defensive tackle, and Dan Morgan, middle linebacker inside, executed very well getting over there to the running back and getting him down.
That's the 4th 3-and-out forced by the Panther defense today. Scott Player punts it deep. Steve Smith going to take that one right at the 43. Gets it back into Arizona territory. Marte Jenkins forcing it out of.
Give it to me, give it to me, give it.
touchdown of the season, all knotted in the Big D at 7.
Don Criqui with Steve Tasker back at the RCA Dome.
You see there Peter Ward, who made the mental mistake of trying to field a punt on his 5-yard line, then compounded that mistake by letting it go through his hands, and the coverage for the Colts was all over him. And that results in a touchdown. Whether they get it right there or not, when you're playing an offense like the Colts, that's how you get your
4 for 11 right now, and this is the worst game that he's had so far, thus far. I mean, he's got plenty of time to turn it around, but right now, this is kind of a slump for him.
Buccaneers start from their own 17-yard line. A gain of 7 for Pittman as we check in with James Brown. JB.
All right, Kenny, 30 yards closer is Emmitt Smith to the rushing record, career rushing record. Take a look here off the left side. Gosh, good second effort right there. 30 yards to pay dirt. First touchdown of the season for Emmitt Smith. Boy, and now they're on top by the score of 13-7. The Giants with that reception by Amani Toomer, waiting for the point after, on top now 13-7. Kenny and Tim.
All right, JB, so Emmitt Smith has reached the end zone for the first time this season. Neither team has reached the end zone today here in Atlanta. 4 wide receivers set, 2nd and 3. Pass is caught by Keyshawn Johnson, his second reception for a Tampa Bay first down, a gain of 8.
And that's a little 2-on-2 matchup out there. Now, the Tampa Bay knows what's going on. They know that Bolden is following Keyshawn all over the field. They know Ambrose is following Keenan McCardell. And so that time they do a little wide receiver screen, and it's a good play. It's a good matchup and a good mix-up. And, you know, we talked about Michael Vick not really being in a groove, throwing the ball and certainly running. Brad Johnson, on the other hand, is being very efficient. He's 8 for 11 right now, and he's doing what they brought him in there to do. I mean, just make the short throws, make the smart plays.
Johnson on first down, caught along the sidelines by Keyshawn Johnson at midfield, a gain of 18, and he's in Bolden's face.
And that's why Keyshawn wants the darn ball, because look at this skill. Bolden has good position on him. He's got it all, but how can you defend against this comeback throw? I mean, Johnson just throws it behind Keyshawn, and Keyshawn has the strength and the athletic ability to just spin around and catch really what is an underthrown ball by design. I don't know if he got both feet down on that, Kenny. That may be something they want to challenge. But if the snap goes off, they're not going to be able to challenge it.
And now Johnson calls timeout.
And that's going to give the Falcons coaches up in the booth a chance to see this thing. I'm not certain whether or not he did get both feet in.
And it's the Buccaneers who stop the clock by calling timeout. Give the Falcons coaches a chance to look at the replay upstairs.
There's 1 foot down, 2 feet. From there, you can't tell. Now, that's not going to overturn it with that. It's got to be indisputable visual evidence. All right, there's the catch right there. There's the left foot. There's the right foot. I don't know. You know,
you can't tell.
Yeah, you can't tell from that shot either. We'll see if we have yet another one. This one here is probably going to give us the definitive look. And I don't even think you can't even tell from that. So even if the Falcons were to challenge, I don't think that would be overturned.
And now the Falcons have challenged.
I don't think that's going to be overturned, but I guess you never know.
If the Buccaneers had not called timeout once the ball was snapped, Falcons would not have been able to challenge, but had some extra time.
Atlanta is challenging the ruling on the field that it was a catch. We'll review the play.
So Bill Carollo will take a look at the video, and we'll check in once again with James Brown.
Kenny and Tim, Emmitt Smith, 30-yard score, answered right back by the Giants. Terry Collins second touchdown toss of the day, 56 yards to Amani Toomey. They beat their rookie corner, Derrick Ross, 14-7. Giants on top, back to Kenny and Tim.
Thanks, JB. Hey, JB, I know that Howie said there was only 2 athletes, or maybe it was Terry in that group there. And then I know you got game because I know you played basketball at Harvard, and I heard the challenge issued to Terry Bradshaw that you could take him one-on-one, spot him 20 points, a 30-point game.
Wow.
So that issue's decided. And then I see Jimmy Johnson catching 2 balls at the same time, one from Joe Namath and one from Terry Bradshaw. So I think you got 4 athletes there in the pregame show.
I wonder if anyone had ever caught passes from 2 Hall of Famers simultaneously like Jimmy did.
I don't think so. I think it's a first. I think Jimmy got called out. Let's take another look at this replay.
And Tim, as you mentioned, there must be indisputable visual evidence.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Bill Carollo cannot overturn the call on the field, which was completion.
I mean, it looks like his, you know what I'm saying? But it looks to me like that right foot, just that heel goes out of bounds. But you have to, I think, extrapolate. I think you have to, you know what I'm saying? I don't think you can actually see it. I gotta believe this thing is going to stand as a catch.
So once again, there must be indisputable visual evidence for the referee, Bill Carollo, to overturn the completion from Brad Johnson to Keyshawn Johnson. If it is overturned, it would push the Buccaneers back 18 yards from midfield back to their own 32. And remember, Carollo might also be looking at how much time to put back on the clock.
See that, Kenny? Miami 16-0 over New England.
Falcons have not had much success under Dan Reeves on instant replays.
After reviewing the play stands as called a completion. Both feet were in bounds. There was not any visual evidence to overturn the ruling on the field. First down, timeout, Atlanta.
Now it's interesting that Carollo said both feet came down in bounds, and then he said there's not enough visual evidence. But the play stands, and the Buccaneers will have a first down at midfield.
Either way, that is a very difficult pass to defend. Bolden, again, he had the right position, but Brad Johnson, that's a called comeback pass where Johnson and Keyshawn Johnson, Brad Johnson get together and say, all right, I'm going to throw this behind you. You're going to come back to it.
Cardell in motion on first down. The toss to Pittman, running behind Roman Oben. And he's hit for a loss of 1 on the play. Ashley Ambrose coming up along with Brady Smith to make the stop.
Kenny, Falcons defense has done a good job containing the Tampa Bay run.
Pittman averaging only 2.5 yards per carry today. As a team, Buccaneers have averaged only 77 yards per game on the ground.
Well, don't forget, I mean, this is a passing offense. John Gruden wants to throw the ball.
Second down and 11, 3 wide receivers. The pass is caught by Joe Juravicius for a first down. 19-yard pass play from Johnson to Juravicius.
And Brad Johnson is really starting to go to work. A well-thrown ball. Juravicius, a lot bigger than Ashley Ambrose. He just gets inside on this slant pass.
So the Buccaneers on the move as we hit the 2-minute warning here in Atlanta.
They know how quick.
His first NFL touchdown pass. 20 yards to Gardner, and the Redskins regain the lead.
And this was a gentleman who was questioned by head coach Steve Spurrier last week for his route running. A nice job here. And again, it took him a while to get after Samari Rolle, but they finally started to test that hamstring of his. And again, a nice job up front by these guys, giving him the time to throw the ball. And somebody needs to go find that football and bring it over to Patrick Ramsey. Don't let that one get away.
Yeah, put it away. James Tuthill on board for the extra point. And the kick is good, and the Redskins, with their first touchdown of the game, have taken a 10-6.
Baby's got Mike.
Arizona trying to do the same thing. Plummer steps up and pulls it down.
And you got a hunch there'll be plenty more. And everyone always said that when the season started that the guy with the best arm, as you pointed out, was Ramsey. But Werfel and Shane Matthews, who is the third quarterback today, both Florida guys who knew Spurrier's offense from that school. But the talent in the long run always wills out.
Yeah, and I really think that he has all those intangibles that you look for in a quarterback, especially that just natural leadership quality, and these guys will be attracted to him. He's got a very energetic personality, very impressive when you sit down and meet with him. These guys will rally around Patrick Ramsey. He's just got that type of air about him.
Again, they've got those three guys in a bunch here. That's to keep Ambrose off of McCardell.
From the 32, Johnson looking for Pittman. Incomplete. Brad Johnson now 10 of 14 in this first half, and he's been sacked twice.
Well, that was good coverage by the Falcons defense downfield, and the disruption came in the form of a little bit of pressure on Brad Johnson. But Pittman's got to hang on to those.
John Gruden very happy with his quarterback. He told us yesterday, I've gained a lot of respect for Brad. Yeah. We can win with him.
Those little dump passes, though, have become a staple of this offense, and if Pittman's going to drop them, it's going to be hard for them to get into the end zone.
On 2nd and 10, pump fake, dumps it off, looking for Pittman again, and he was wrapped up by Travis Hall, making his 2002 debut, coming back from an injury.
Yeah, he had a torn groin and abductor muscle, and he sat out all preseason in the first 3 games, and they didn't know if he was going to be able to withstand the stress of a game. So he came into today. He was going to test that thing all out, and if it doesn't work, if it still bothers him, the next step is going to be surgery. More tackles than any interior lineman in the NFL since 1996. Travis Hall, look at that, 509. And that was a very well played last play by Hall on the screen.
And a member of the Falcons team that went to the Super Bowl back in '98. Fans on their feet, 3rd down and 10.
Big 3rd down. This is where Brad Johnson looks for his money guy, McCardell, but you know Keyshawn Johnson, this is where he wants to get the ball when it's clutch time.
Johnson lofts one up for Keyshawn, and it's picked off by Keon Carpenter. His first interception of the season.
This is a total defensive effort by the Atlanta Falcons. And Kenny, it starts with a guy who we've mentioned before, Ed Jasper, the nose guard. Watch Jasper and look at the pressure he gets on Brad Johnson right there. Forces Johnson to leap up and throw this ball higher than he wants it to go. The trajectory is off, and Keon Carpenter comes over and steals it right out of the hands of Keyshawn Johnson. That was the kind of big play they needed to disrupt the rhythm of Tampa Bay's passing game.
6th career pick. He intercepted 5 2 years ago with the Buffalo Bills, playing for Wade Phillips, the head coach in Buffalo at the time, now the defensive coordinator here in Atlanta.
Well, Wade Phillips brought a new defense here to Atlanta. It's the 3-4, and we've talked about it before. And anytime you bring a new D, you want to bring some of your old players with you.
And Phillips has brought 4 ex-Bills to Atlanta. Well, October's magical matchups continue tonight. Game 4, the Braves and the Giants. Atlanta looking to close out the series and advance to the NLCS for the 7th time in the last 8 years. The magical matchups continue tonight, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Fox.
Atlanta's up 2-1. Now in game 1, Glavine lost. But today he's going to be pitching against Barry Bonds. Bonds has never been to a World Series, so this is going to be a great one to watch tonight. Tom Glavine versus Barry Bonds. Sounds like a monster movie.
And you saw Livan Hernandez will start for the Giants. Perfect postseason record. T.J. Duckett on first down. Falcons have 1 timeout as we are in the final 2 minutes of this first half. In a 3-3 game following the second Tampa Bay Buccaneers turnover. Johnson lost a fumble in the first quarter, and he was picked off by Carpenter moments ago.
I think this conservative approach by Dan Reeves is a good one because Michael Vick has not yet established a rhythm. And I don't think you want to press for something now. I think you want to get out of this half. Your defense just came up with a huge play to keep it 3-3. I think you want to get into the locker room and let Michael Vick start from scratch. Say, hey, second half is going to be a new game.
Just ask the Giants. They led 7-0 in Arizona last week. Similar situation. Instead of running out the clock, Kerry Collins was intercepted. It was returned for a touchdown, and that turned the tide.
Yeah, and as I said, I mean, right now Michael's not in his rhythm. He can get it back quick, but I think you wait and you don't do it when you're backed up to your own end zone. I think this is a smart decision by Dan Reeves and the Atlanta Falcons.
Vick just 37 yards in the air and only 1 carry for 1 yard.
And this, you can't forget also, Kenny, this is Tampa Bay defense has scored 3 touchdowns in the last 3 games. So you don't want to make it 4 for 4.
And the Buccaneers, Tim, not able to stop the clock. They're out of timeouts. So the Falcons will run out the half. Fans not happy, but again, when you look at what happened to the Giants last week, especially going up against Tampa Bay, probably the right decision. Falcons forcing 2 turnovers in the first half. We are tied at 3 here at a sold-out Georgia Dome. First ever NFC South matchup between the Buccaneers and the Falcons.
You see Sapp smiling, and he and Anthony McFarland, Simeon Rice, they've put a lot of pressure on Michael Vick, and they've disrupted him, Kenny. We have not seen the Michael Vick that Falcons fans have seen in the first 3 games of this season. We've not seen him run the ball. We've not seen one of those spectacular runs, and we've not seen the efficiency in the passing game that coming into this game made Michael Vick the top-rated quarterback in the NFC.
So the Buccaneers and Falcons are tied at 3. Halftime here in Atlanta. Fox NFL Sunday. The Visa Halftime Report is coming up.
And we'll give you a look at what he's talking about right here. These are all your gaps in between the offensive linemen, and we'll even include out here on the perimeter outside each of the ends. And what he wants is a defensive player in every one of these gaps, and that is where this team concept system comes from. And right now at times the defenders are not getting into those gaps, and I can't tell you whether it's a return of a punt or a kickoff or just a running play, that ball always finds its way back to that open area.
It's interesting. Players want to make the move to go to the ball, and then you say if they would have stayed home,
it will come right to you. And that's what these guys have to get. It's a difficult concept, especially if you've been in a defensive system where you've
did get some glove on that pass from Rich Gannon.
Look at Watson. They've come after him again. And Jerry Rice, you want to tell me at almost 40 years old, he can't run by a defense.
Long reception from Pathan. And then it was Tommy Maddox for the Steelers hitting Hines Ward for the 2-yard touchdown after the 54-yard screen pass. Maddox to Amos Zaraway. And we stand at 19-14. So a big play for the Steelers defense on 3rd down and 5. They're trying to get it back. They have 2 timeouts left. Here's Brooks. Underneath, it is incomplete. Lewis drops it. Deshae Townsend got up under him, and the Saints will have to punt it away. One more chance for Maddox and this explosive Steelers offense.
And a nice hit, but Aaron Brooks put this on the money, and Lewis has to hang on to this ball. If you're going to make an impact as a wide receiver, you got to be able to hang on to those. And see Townsend driving right through the back of the wide receiver, is exactly how he's taught.
Toby Goins' first punt. Here's Antoine Randall from the 23 looking. And Antoine Randall goes down at the 26. A 49-yard punt and a 4-yard return. Mel Mitchell with the tackle on special teams. Tonight on 60 Minutes, Jesse James never even came close to stealing what the Wall Street gang is accused of stealing. Who's going to get him? We'll tell you who and how tonight at 7, 6 Central on 60 Minutes. 2 timeouts apiece. Steelers and the Saints.
And Gus, realistically, for the Steelers to have a chance, Todd Peterson probably right around the 35-yard line is where they'd have to get for a field goal opportunity. But obviously have some big weapons on the outside.
They need to go about 40 yards in 38 seconds with 2 timeouts. And somebody jumping offside. I believe it's Grant for the Saints, number 94.
Defense offside, unabated to the quarterback, number 94. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
And I think, you think these guys are sack hungry? Here
yeah,
we
a little
go.
bit. Darren Howard.
It's great to be able to go on 2, but usually when you do that, your own guys jump. So that's a brave call here on the road.
1st and 5 at the 31. Steelers need to go about 35 yards to get into range for their field goal kicker. Todd Peterson to the sideline. Antoine Randall is taken down. Nicely done by Fakir Brown, former San Diego Charger. Played collegiately at Grambling.
And Gus, the clock keeps running, so the Steelers, if they're serious about trying to score, are going to have to go down the ball. Tommy Maddox right now using hand signals to the outside receivers.
Why do you run that kind of play in that situation?
Well, you're just hoping for a big gang and then maybe say, hey, we're going to go into the 2-minute drill, but right now it doesn't look like it.
Here's Maddox underneath, and it's incomplete with 5 seconds to go.
And so much for that 2-minute drill.
So again, here comes Armstrong. There goes the pass. Caught.
Brady, and all of a sudden, he's been shut down. He throws the ball all over the world.
He just needed a little blocking, fellas. Why are you talking about the bus like that? 12th player to rush for 11,000 yards. That wasn't me. Jerome, I love you. I know your family's listening. Tommy Maddox looking for Plaxico Burress. Double coverage. He still makes the play. And right here you have Aaron Brooks going long, finding his man. Jerome Payton filling in for Dante Stallworth out at the 1-yard line. Deuce McAllister scores. Maddox coming back, hitting Hines Ward for the touchdown. Play review, touchdown stands. Saints still up.
Yeah, they waved it off at first review. They gave it to him. Carolina leads on a touchdown pass by Rodney Peete. Tampa Bay and Atlanta, just a field goal on each side, and Vick's been held to 37 passing yards. The Giants lead here. They had it on their own 21 last play of the half. This week they took a knee. They didn't throw it like they did last week. It was run back the other way. Tennessee leads as the Redskins started Werfel and went out early with a shoulder injury, and Ramsey has replaced him. McNair has rushed for a touchdown and thrown one as well for the Titans. We'll send you back to the second half in Indiana.
In the second half, back to you.
All right, Armin, you think that usually translates to anything?
That shot. He's willing to get that helmet in his chest, that helmet in his back, in order to get the ball down the field to his receivers. And that's one of the reasons, just one of many, many reasons, everyone here loves this guy so much.
After the 54-yard strike to Price, 30-yard line, 1st and 10. Centers in the backfield. From the Oakland 30, Larry Centers with the block from Wiemersma and a stiff arm into Woodson. Centers to the 5, 1st and goal, Buffalo, a 25-yard pickup.
And they had the big rise up. They stopped Oakland. This is why you have the emotional amnesia and you stop an offense, because you know you've got an offense on your side that can move the ball against anybody. This defense of Oakland is not a bad defense, but Larry Centers and the Buffalo Bills offense is just smiling and dialing. I said it about Oakland, and it's working for the Bills.
Gains of 14, 54, and 25 yards through the air on the drive. 1st and goal at the 5. Larry Centers. Oh, he's still on his feet. Touchdown! The offense just covered, Randy, 98 yards in 52 seconds.
Beasley talked about how emotional Garner ran. There's an emotional run from a Bills running back, Larry Centers.
His first rushing touchdown of the season, one of the few he's had in his career. And that ties the game off the foot of Mike Hollis.
You know, Raiders owner Al Davis is here. Ralph Wilson, the owner of the Bills, is here. And Larry Centers in this Bills offense, and Rich Gannon in this Oakland Raiders offense has got to have both these old-time owners having a little case of deja vu. This is back to the old days of the AFL. 21-21, end of the first half. There isn't any backup, there isn't any quit, and it's all imagination and offense.
For Larry Centers, that is only the 3rd rushing touchdown. Only 4 of 12, 37 yards. We'll return, look at stats and highlights after these messages. NFL.
Yeah, but we talked about the Raiders coming in here at 250 some odd yards offense, average.
Outside, that's Chambers. And Chambers inside the 35, and you can see
Curry is going to keep it on the ground. Penny Watson. And Watson slivers his way up to the 30-yard line. And that could be the last play of the first half. Tennessee Titans twice coming back to take the lead in this game. In a game that is so crucial to both clubs, even this early in the season. Their only victory, the opening game. Both teams have dropped everyone since. And that'll do it. That'll be the end of the half.
The end of the second quarter.
With the score, the Titans 14 and the Redskins 10. And Fox NFL Sunday will continue with the Visa.
50 yards long. This is the Arena Football League Season 17. This February, football is in the house.
Brought to you in part by Bridgestone Tires. Advanced technology that gives you.
They're smiling because they got all the services on one bill. And by the way, we're smiling too for receiving the J.D. Power and Associates Award for being #1 in customer satisfaction. For long-distance service you'll smile about, just give us a call. Make progress every day. Verizon.
Hey! That thing got a Hemi? Yeah. Sweet.
The all-new Dodge Ram Heavy Duty.
Did you mean the Charger? Because you know that's got a Hemi too.
Now with a 345 horsepower, 5.7-liter Hemi Magnum. Grab Dodge's 770 powertrain limited warranty. Ford, Chevy, and Toyota don't match it.
I'm Mike Allstott. You're watching the Bucs on Fox 13.
There's an easier way to get the gear the pros wear. Call 877-NFL-SHOP for the biggest selection of authentic NFL gear for all 32 teams. For your free team catalog, call 877-NFL-SHOP or go to NFL-SHOP on NFL.com.
Buccaneers and Falcons tied at 3 as we welcome you back to the Georgia Dome. Kenny Albert along with Tim Green. And Tim, in the first half so far, the defenses have certainly outshone the offenses on both sides.
Yeah, they have. I mean, Tampa Bay and Brad Johnson have gotten the ball moving, but anytime they get down near the end zone, they've had turnovers, so that's killed them. And then for Michael Vick, he's playing his worst game so far, but it's not really totally because of him. A lot of it is the disruption of this Tampa Bay front four. They have put a lot of pressure on Michael Vick. They have brought the heat. They've knocked him down. They've sacked him, and they're doing their job of keeping him out of his rhythm. If Atlanta is going to get this thing going again offensively, they have to take the pressure away from Michael Vick.
Sacked twice in the first half, only 1 yard on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise Atlanta's been successful on the ground with T.J. Duckett. On the other side of the ball, Tampa Bay who have not been able to run the ball well all season, have continued in that way. They're only averaging 3 yards a carry.
About 10 moments ago, our Buck Lanford spoke with Buccaneers head coach John Gruden.
All right, thanks, Coach Gruden. You guys have done something that no one else has been able to do, and that is neutralize Mike Vick. What's the secret?
Well, we got some good players on defense. It's a 60-minute game. The guy's very dangerous. We just got to stay in our rush lanes and stay very relentless.
A 3-3, kind of a defensive battle. Are you surprised by that at all?
Well, it's a good football team we're playing. We had a couple nice drives, stymied by some turnovers. We got to protect the ball and try and capitalize on field position.
All right, Coach, thanks a lot. Back upstairs to Kenny and Tim.
All right, thanks very much, Buck. Buccaneers start from their own 20-yard line. Johnson, 10 of 16, 124 yards. He was sacked twice and turned the ball over twice. Michael Pittman gains 3 on first down. Out to the 23, Keith Brooking made the stop.
And you see on that play there, the Bucs continue to struggle running the ball. Brad Johnson's doing a pretty good job throwing it. The turnovers are what has kept this game close, because over on this side of the ball, look at the Falcons, 29 yards passing. That is abysmal for this Falcons offense, especially with Michael Vick at the quarterback. I mean, don't forget, coming into this game, Vick, the #1 rated passer in the NFC.
Only 90 total yards for the Falcons. Johnson on 2nd and 7, incomplete, looking for Keyshawn.
That ball looked like it just got away from Brad Johnson. I love what John Gruden said about Johnson this week. He said, you know, let's be honest, he's not a real glamorous guy. He's an average dresser. He gets a $12 haircut every 3 weeks, and he's not the most animated guy. But I'll tell you one thing, Brad Johnson is one tough son of a gun. He didn't say gun. And Johnson is tough. He is like a mule back there. You hit him with a board, and he just keeps going.
Johnson on 3rd and 7. Forced to throw it away under pressure from Brady Smith and Patrick Kearney.
Yeah, I think Travis Hall got in that as well. And they hit Brad Johnson with a board. Watch him coming on this play here. Here comes the pressure right up on the outside and the inside. And it really was Travis Hall, who's 310 pounds and moves well. Watch Hall right there. Wham! Right in the midriff. But like I said, Brad Johnson, that doesn't affect him.
So the Buccaneers go 3 and out on the first possession of their second half. Allen Ross, he is walloped by Jack Golden. 58-yard punt, 12 on the return.
Very late looking back for the football, and the contact before that point is illegal if he's not playing the ball. And there's, you know, that'll kill you as a defense. No matter how good you're playing, a penalty like that keeps you from coming off the field and keeps your offense sitting on the bench.
The Colt corners in recent years have played soft. That means well off the line of scrimmage. They'll try to keep it in front of them. That was a big gain, a 21-yard penalty assessed against the Indianapolis Colts. Now Kitna and the Bengals with some renewed confidence. Kitna again, pump faking, home run ball. Defender all over the receiver, and another penalty thrown. The ball's caught anyway. They're going to get Macklin again for interfering. He can't cover Chad Johnson.
Man, now they're going to call it was a reception. The guy got pushed out of bounds. And this is going to go against Macklin as well. And I'll tell you what, Don, you think you
pass interference. Defense, number 27.
He can't cover Chad Johnson.
Keep picking on the guy. Well, he keeps getting penalties. Pick on him as well there. Right there, that's illegal. He throws the arm bar across and then holds the receiver up. And Johnson can't get his feet in, so the ball wasn't completed.
So back-to-back interference calls on Macklin, the cornerback for the Colts, of 21 yards, then 25 yards. And here is Kitna on a rollout, and he has to throw the ball away.
Jim Green in Atlanta. Neither offense has been able to do much today, thanks to the strong defensive efforts by both the Buccaneers and the Falcons.
Well, Tampa Bay has moved the ball a little bit in the air, and Atlanta has moved the ball a little bit on the ground, mostly with T.J. Duckett. But Warrick Dunn is back in the game right now.
Dunn only 2.2 yards per carry today, and Michael Vick only 4 completions. The pitch to Dunn, looking for running room. Out to the 32, a gain of just 1 as the Buccaneers continue to bottle up their former teammate. Spent his last 5 years in Tampa. Still has a home there. Spent some time in Tampa during the bye week.
Well, he's a wonderful guy, Warrick Dunn, and all he does for single moms and their children. I think he bought over 28 homes for
made down
families
payments
that didn't have those homes.
Provide homes for 28 single moms and 81 children in both Tampa Bay and his hometown of Baton Rouge. Vick on second down deflects off the tight end Algie Crumpler.
And there was heat even on that play, but you know, that's one Algie Crumpler's got to catch. That was it had some sauce on it, though. You know what I'm saying? That had some Tabasco sauce on it. That was a zipped ball. That was one of those balls where, you know, again, Michael wants that to have a little bit of touch on it. 1 for 7 today on 3rd down.
And an empty backfield. 5 receivers set. Everybody out. Vick steps up. Nowhere to go, and he is taken down. For the 3rd time today, Simeon Rice.
And Warren Sapp made that thing possible. He's got the head nod going because he knows that he's the guy that made this thing happen. Warren Sapp, he comes like a rhino out of control, and Michael Vick is hurt.
Took him a while to get up off the turf. Doug Johnson, the backup.
It looked like his non-throwing shoulder is what they're looking at. Watch it here. There's Sapp. He gets a hand on him, almost sacks him. Then you see the elusiveness, but here comes Simeon Rice, and Rice pounces on him. And there's that shoulder exposed, that right shoulder, and he falls right down on the turf.
But the key, as you said, Tim, it's the non-throwing shoulder.
Yeah, that's a classic. I mean, you don't know what it is, but that's a classic collarbone injury. You know, where you get the AC separation or the SC, where the clavicle comes out of joint, where it connects either to the shoulder, at the scapula, or the sternum. Would be the SC. Either way, it's more Tampa Bay pressure up front to keep Michael Vick out of his rhythm and now maybe out of the game.
Simeon Rice with 2.5 sacks today for the Bucs. Fair catch called for and a penalty flag as Travis Jervey was downfield on special teams. And
Jervey's trying to say that Jermaine Phillips blocked him in.
Jervey making contact with the return man, Carl Williams.
That is kind of what happened. Watch, Jervey's going to actually get blocked in the back by Phillips. That's a call. That's a bad call by the officials. They're discussing it now. That should have been and maybe it is. Maybe it's a flag against Phillips for a block in the back.
Phillips, the rookie out of the University of Georgia, 5th-round pick by the Bucs.
The officials very well may have seen that. I don't know. Yes,
it is against Tampa.
That's a very good call.
Illegal block in the back on the receiving team. That's a 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. There's no fair catch interference because he was blocked into him. But it is a block in the back for 10 yards. First down, Tampa Bay.
Gruden's saying that's so bad, but when he sees the film, he'll know that it was bad by Jermaine Phillips, not by the officials.
The 7-yard line. Good pass blocking, and again Manning finds an outlet receiver, Edger and James, and he moves the ball out to.
And you're signed up.
The extra point.
Number 55 used an opponent to gain leverage. That's a 15-yard penalty. That'll be assessed on the kickoff. The extra point is good.
Joey Porter climbing over one of his teammates' back. And Aaron Brooks, he's happy that Mr. McAllister.
Peyton Manning comes out. This is the star player coming out way early, throwing to his star player. They ran through about 20 plays, just the two of them. Edger and James comes out, takes part in it as well. They do that before every game. And let me tell you something. Nobody in the National Football League comes out and prepares before a game like Peyton Manning does on game day.
Yeah, no problem.
And the end product shows up at 1 o'clock. Or in this case, 12 o'clock. That's when the kickoff time was locally. They're down less than a yard, and Manning's going to throw on the play, and he makes a connection.
And the handoff to Kenny Watson, and Watson with an impressive run.
Well, the official report on Michael Vick, a sore right shoulder after he was sacked by Simeon Rice moments ago.
Kenny, that's the same shoulder he took a hit on 3 weeks ago when the Bears came up here and Warwick Coleman popped him with his helmet right in that shoulder.
It's Pittman on first down, and Vick told us yesterday that hit by Holden was the hardest he's ever taken. And he told his cousin Aaron Brooks about it because New Orleans played Chicago the next week.
And Brooks told him that you have to get out of bounds, or you have to get down. You cannot take those kind of hits and continue to play quarterback in this league. And you've got the arm that's big enough, strong enough, quick enough to just sit back there in the pocket. So don't be such a hero.
2nd and 4. Pittman ducks to the outside, has the first down, out to the 25-yard line. Doug Johnson continues to throw on the Falcons sidelines. Vick
going to try to throw and see if he can throw with that shoulder bothering him. I tell you, if he does get back in the game, they're going to have to do a much better job of protecting him. They've really not protected him well this game.
Looks to be wincing every time he throws. First and 10, Bucks from their own 25 in a 3-3 game. Quick drop. And the pass caught out to the 33-yard line by Keyshawn Johnson. Don Holisek made the tackle after a gain of 8.
Now you see the Bucks offense is starting to operate on all cylinders. They came out running the ball with Michael Pittman. 2 runs, picked up a first down. Now they go to the short possession type pass to Keyshawn Johnson.
Redskins have lost both Danny Werfel and Stephen Davis. Carolina looking for their 4th win. Miami leading New England by 10. Inside handoff, Pittman out to the 35. Close to the marker, looks to have the first down. How about New Orleans? 3-1 Saints, division rivals of both the Falcons and the Buccaneers, leading the Steelers 26-14.
And if you look at, of course, we called the game in the opener when the Saints went to Tampa Bay and gave Tampa Bay their only loss. And the way they did it really was Aaron Brooks was able to somehow beat the Tampa Bay defense on 3rd down. He ran for first downs. He threw effectively for first downs. And the Falcons right now, offensively today, they're 1 for 8 on 3rd down at 13%. The Saints were 50% on 3rd down, and that's how they beat Tampa Bay.
On the 35, Johnson pump fakes, and he's taken down. He lost the football, but he was down. He was ruled down.
I don't know. Oh, yeah, was he? Yeah, no, he's ruled down. Yep, the officials are ruling it down.
Ben Montgomery, the line judge, ruled him down by contact, and that cannot be challenged. If a player is ruled down by contact by an official, it cannot be challenged by the opposing side.
That's really good coverage downfield by the Falcons secondary. There you see Ed Jasper. He just pushes Kerry Jenkins, and if that was a fumble, that would have been a real heads-up play by Jasper, just to push the offensive guy away.
Jenkins, Tim, playing with that cracked fibula. Played last week as well. Johnson actually gained 2 on the play. 2nd and 8. Pass intended for Keyshawn.
Yeah, good coverage again by the Atlanta Falcons. They covered him up on that play. And then the play before, the one where Johnson looked like he may have fumbled. Look at this coverage downfield. If you stop it, look at that. Man for man, man for man, man for man, man for man. And there's a free safety there in the middle to help. So that would be a coverage. It wasn't a sack, but it was a coverage play that foiled Brad Johnson in that Tampa Bay offense.
3rd down and 8. 3 wide receivers. Bucks have to get to the 45 for a first down. Johnson just out of the reach of a diving McCardell. And Johnson took a hit from the Falcons' Ellis Johnson.
Well, the Falcons started this out pressing those wide receivers. The cornerbacks were right up on Keyshawn Johnson and Keenan McCardell. They were right up in their face, jamming them around because the safeties were behind them. Look at this. Watch this work right here. Ashley Ambrose, but then Ambrose actually ends up coming off the coverage, and look how open McCardell was. But by that time, the pressure had gotten to Brad Johnson.
Allen Rossum across the 40 to the 44. 23-yard return by Rossum. Good field position for the Falcons.
The lead.
Quick pass by Rodney Peete out to Isaac Bird.
Out, 2nd down and 10. Kitna stands in, lets a long ball go, and he overshoots Westbrook, who runs a deep pattern. Westbrook, who came here and has felt he's not been used well. Former Washington Redskin #1 pick.
Well, they went after David Macklin once again with a big receiver, somebody they think can get deep. And Macklin, after 2 interference penalties on consecutive plays, you know he's going to get a few more throws his way today. Probably deep ones like you saw there. They're not through with him.
John Kitna, who for the most part has been well protected today, standing in on this throw. It'll be a 3rd and 10 play. Blitzers come, catch is made. Chad Johnson drives ahead, first down. The play of the day for the Bengals, a terrific play by Chad Johnson. 13-yard gain on 3rd and 10.
Blitz is coming. He breaks off his route to give Kitna somewhere to throw it, and bang! Hang on to the ball at the end. And that's, oh man, that's professional football, Don. I'm glad I'm retired.
I tell you, that is a tremendous play by Johnson. Now Corey Dillon rips through, and he's on the run. One man in pursuit. And Corey Dillon looks like he's going to win the race. He's in. Touchdown Bengals. The play of the season for the Bengals, a 67-yard touchdown run.
Dick LeBeau, the head coach, told us they had to get some big plays in the run game to be successful. They've hung in. The Colts look to be running away with this thing early, but the Bengals...
Accuracy of his passing. And Dan Reeves was excited about, this is his 3rd year in the system, and he was excited about how well Johnson has picked up Dan Reeves' offense.
From the 43, penalty markers.
Free play.
Johnson, complete to Finneran. Brian Kelly made the tackle, a gain of 15 yards.
Tampa Bay came up with the blitz. They went with the adage, blitz the young guy. Doug Johnson may be young and he may lack experience, but...
Offside, defense, 97. That penalty is declined. First down.
He's somewhat wise beyond his years. And you saw right there, he kept his composure. They showed the blitz. He hung in and delivered a perfect pass for his first throw of the game.
A rare University of Florida quarterback who does not play for the Washington Redskins. 3rd season. Started 2 games as a rookie for the Falcons 2 years ago. Played in 3 games, but did not start last year.
He's got a stronger arm than any of those other Florida quarterbacks.
Off the play fake on first down. Johnson complete to Duckett. Duckett inside the 25 to the 22. Finally pulled down by Derrick Brooks. Robbie Barber had a shot at him. Gain of 20 from Johnson to Duckett.
And look how well he knows this offense. Look at the composure. Johnson sets up. He reads the field. Watch how long he sits back there. It's a play action pass. He reads the field. And then here's a touch pass. Just a dump off to T.J. Duckett. Put it in the big back's hands and let him rumble.
So Doug Johnson comes in, replacing the injured Vick, and the Falcons gain more yards on his first 2 plays than their previous 4 drives combined.
And Bucs defense have got to be scratching their heads right now saying, who is this guy?
Here's Duckett down to the 19, a gain of 3. Derrick Brooks made the stop, setting up 2nd down and 7.
Well, Doug Johnson is in the game, Kenny. Michael Vick went into the locker room because of this hit. Warren Sapp got on him, then Simeon Rice brings him down, and that shoulder is exposed, that right shoulder. And that's what his injury is. You see him there wincing in pain as he tries to lift his arm, wincing his pain as he tries to throw the ball, even though it was his non-throwing shoulder that he's hurt. Vick had 37 yards passing. Johnson already has 35.
Johnson out of the shotgun on 2nd and 7. Johnson looking, throws, and Rondé Barber dropped up Willie Jackson. Falcons wanted a flag on the play. No flag.
Tell you what,
it will be a 3rd and 7.
Tell you one thing, that's Johnson's thrown 3 passes, completed 2 of them, but he has not had the pressure that Michael Vick had on him all day. It's almost as if the Tampa Bay defensive front 4 lost that smell, you know what I mean, the smell of that hunger, because they have not put the heat on Doug Johnson yet. Well, when you see 99 there, even though he's huffing and puffing now, you'd be surprised if he doesn't bring the heat real soon.
Falcons only 1 for 8 on 3rd down. Johnson's pass is caught by Finneran, but he stopped about a yard shy of the marker. Setting up 4th down and 1. And Dan Reeves will send out the field goal unit.
Kenny, once again, Falcons offensive line, all of a sudden, they're protecting the heck out of Johnson. Watch the block here. Watch Travis Claridge on Warren Sapp. He runs Sapp right out of the play.
So here's Fielding, who hit from 34, missed from 46. This a 32-yard attempt to give the Falcons the lead. He does. So Doug Johnson moving the Falcons downfield in for the injured Michael Vick, and Atlanta takes the lead.